How's everyone going? Welcome back to another Comanche 998 Model Railway unboxing video. Well, it's been a while, hasn't it? We haven't had a review or unboxing for the whole of this year, and we're starting it back up again. At least we're making it just before the end of the year, and hopefully we'll have another video come out soon, but we all know what it already is today, so it's something a little bit different. Something a little bit smaller. Well, welcome everyone. So it has definitely been a while since we've done a unboxing video on this channel. I have been doing quite a few on the other channel, and we'll obviously have a link to that later on, because obviously this is something different, isn't it? Today we're going to take a nice look at. This is actually literally the day that it came to the store, of the brand new Gopher Models C38. Specifically, this one is 3801, the Legend of Steam. So this is in N gauge. So as we know, we did an HO version of this locomotive like a year ago, a year or two ago. So it's quite nice to go and grab something a little bit smaller, and something which is more of the high detail rather than our more basic arm model that came out last year. This is not mine. This is actually borrowed from a friend of mine. So let's get into it, shall we? So this is obviously, it's 3801. Specifically, this is there are multiple versions of them created, but 3801 has a special box and is also being authorized by Transport Heritage. So let's take a quick look around the box, shall we? It uses the standard sort of plastic casing, which a lot of N-gauge models are more prone to having. It's not really an HO thing, it's more of a N-gauge thing, although we do have it on our carriages from Precision now, for the single carriages. On the side we have very nice New South Wales Government Railways 3801 with a little blueprint sort of drawing on the side, and same as the end. So as we say, 3801's boxes are more standard. We'll have a chat about the rest of them after we unbox this model. Coming onto the back, gives us a little bit of information about the locomotive, built by Clyde Engineering, and a bit of the power ratios, gauges, and all that sort of stuff, which is pretty cool, pretty standard sort of information that you can acquire from even just looking up online. So, in service on the 22nd of February 1943. We joined for service on 9th of October 1965. Not too bad. So this is a front, what's it called? A Hobbies Australia exclusive as well. Not exclusive, but it's only available through Hobbies Australia. This is DCC sound ready. There are DCC sound versions being made by, I think it's Brimbank Models, who are bringing out those. Which are basically these same models, obviously, but with a decoder fitted. So let's take a quick look into it. So opening out the front, you've got a little sticker on it that also says it's using a Microtrains magnetic coupler. So it is a bit of a unique coupler to everything else that we use. So we're going to see how that goes with using our, obviously, we're not going to be able to run it with anything. We don't really have any regular carriages for this. And anyone who's used to our other channel will know that we primarily do N-gauge, but we do Japanese N-gauge. So we may end up finding some Japanese rolling stock. I do apologize for doing that. Same like the one video last year, putting Victorian stock behind 3801. It's just because it's nice to have a load behind it. So this nicely flips open. It has a little plastic cover. I have to be a little bit careful, obviously, because this isn't my model. This has, hopefully we'll be able to go back in its original condition. We have a little bag of bits. It's just front coupler, it looks like, because I already know it only comes with a rear coupler fitted, so it's a coupling box, I would assume, and a few other piston piston end caps, it looks like. Yeah, I think that's what it is. So I will have a close-up of these components as well, obviously, and these are some glazing for the windows, so which is because the windows have been left in the open position, so you can put them in the closed position. So now we can already see the model, which actually looks pretty cool in this sort of thing. So I think we'll have to follow the standard procedure like most of the nope, no we don't, because this is going to rip the casing apart. How do we get this out? Let's pull this, let's take that all out. A bit of heft to it. So do we get instructions with these models? No, we don't. There are no instructions, at least not with this one. So, alright. I do realise I just put it to its side onto the hard concrete, what's it called, table, but so bit of a difficult packaging to actually unpack, surprisingly. It's nothing like the what I'm used to with Engage anyways, which but at least this is foam, so it's not it's a good quality material. But there we go, there's our little model. Very small little model. There is also a bit of polystyrene inside the cab that we'll put, which obviously we'll have to take out. There we go. Yeah, there we are. There's our little model. Let's get up nice and close to it. However, we are going to have a quick chat about the model. With regards to the Model Emporium in Cheltenham, Victoria, I also had an opportunity to take a look at some of the other ones that they had available. So there are multiple of these available in different numbers and different colours. So as you see on screen at the moment, we have the non-streamlined version of the C38s. We have 3830 on the for this video, and 3810 in the all black livery. We also have the all black version of 3803, which was also also available. A few other models are also available, and a full list of those are available on Gopher Models website. These models are available from most Australian model shops. Not really most, a few model shops with a lot of 3801 at the time of recording, which is the 17th of October. Quite a few available through the New South Wales Rail Museum for this particular model of 3801. So, with thanks to the Model Emporium, let's continue on with this video. Alright, well here we are on the desk, nice and close up, and let's have a look at some of these details. We will of course do a first impressions of this model as usual, alongside the brief history you should have just been able to listen to. Let's have a quick look around the model. It looks really good actually. The printing seems pretty good. It's very decent. The colours are, the green is pretty good. It's accurate to, of what I understand, to the current darker green. Unfortunately, it's not in the shiny polished livery. The gloss livery, not polished, gloss livery like it is at the moment. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Like some people don't really like the polished, or the gloss, I guess. But to me, it just kind of feels more like the model being in the gloss form, more like the real one in the gloss form. So continue. Let's have a quick look around, shall we? The wheels look nice. All metal wheels. They've got that. For some reason, the one of the center pin for the center driving axle is black, rather than the same sort of metal color like the rest of them. Because I'm pretty sure the real one is just a metal color. No polished wheels though, so take it as you will, whether or not you do or don't like that. Sorry, polished outer rims, obviously, because the real ones The real one does have that feature, but also not really a thing that some people like, I found out. It's got 4 articulating bogies, so that's obviously a plus already of that. Zooming right in. So the lines are clean. You got some fake coal fitted to the back. The 3801 on the rear of the tender. I do apologise about the focus. You may notice the focus being a bit funny sometimes. I'm actually getting used to a new camera at the moment, so especially with filming something this small, it's just a little bit difficult. The printing on that number is really nice. You can see the lining around it as well, so that's really cool. There's your little cupola as well. It's looking pretty good, honestly. There's rivets down the side of the tender, and coming back onto the locomotive. Pretty much the same on this side. This side's also got. It's got a lot of a few little separately fitted parts as well, like your handrails and even your whistle, which is really nice. So the funnel looks a bit too clean for this model. Also, obviously you can't really tell from the video, but you can. But from my angle, you can tell the funnel isn't actually a hole. It just ends there, which is a bit unfortunate. I guess it doesn't really matter too much, but it would have probably been nicer for it to be painted black in that case as well. Nothing that no modeler can't fix. So this model does accept a couple on the front. That's what's it called? As I did speak about earlier, you can fit a couple to the front of the model if you so would like to. But yeah, so not too bad of a looker, honestly. It looks pretty accurate to what I've seen of 3801 in real life. Obviously very small and very hard to see otherwise, but definitely doesn't look too bad. There's even the air compressor fitted to the front of the locomotive right there underneath the smoke box door, which is really nice. That's all separately fitted as well. The C38 class is a type of express steam locomotive built for the New South Wales Government Railways. The first order of 5 locomotives were built by Clyde Engineering and were designed with a streamlined casing. The first locomotive entered service in 1943, being class leader number 3801. Due to it being the wartime, she arrived in a plain grey livery and nicknamed the Grey Nurse. In 1945, a further 25 locomotives were ordered. These differed ever so slightly, with the locomotives being built unstreamlined by the New South Wales Government Railways, Everley and Cardiff workshops. The C38s were primarily seen on express trains of the Southern Highlands Central West lines, along with the Newcastle Flyer, being limited to primarily main lines due to the higher axle loading. The first C38 was retired in 1961, with the final one to run in 1970, this being 3820 on the Newcastle Flyer. 3801 was withdrawn from traffic in 1965, however was immediately put under the custodianship of the New South Wales Rail Transport Museum. She was officially handed over to the museum in 1975, who now looks after the engine. Following her most recent overhaul, the engine returned to service in 2021. Wow, this camera has done really good on getting some of the details of the model. We can see the crispness of the model and some of the paint lines. You can see how clear some of those lines are as well. It's very sharp printing that they've gotten on the model. So it's definitely not bad of a model at all, I must admit. So starting from the front of the locomotive, we have the little air vent things on the top. These are they're not etched. There's no holes in them. Which is fair enough for something this small, but there should be holes there. The headlight is right there. From what I'm told, the headlight works on this model, so that's going to be pretty cool. This is a DC model, so we can test it nice and easily as well. We've got the steps on the bottom and your printing of 3801 on the foot plate. Foot plate? That's not the foot plate. I forgot a buffer beam. So the numbers look leveled. They look printed correctly, mostly. At least from what I can tell. It is a little bit small for me to see though, unfortunately. So It's also got two buffers on the front. Buffers are not sprung loaded. Coming over on the side of the unit, we've got our piston arrangement and our Walshart's motion. The locomotive is a Pacific locomotive, so it has a wheel arrangement of 4, 6, 2. And that has been rendered out really, really nicely. Everything moves. So the pony truck moves. Obviously all the wheels move. The motion moves, which is really, really nice. You got your reverser on the your mechanical reverser on this side of the unit. We can see the handrails running straight through the side of the model, nice and clean, and nicely fitted. Moving towards the rear of the locomotive onto the tender, we can see the connection between the tender. It uses a semi-permanent coupling. This coupling uses a screw, so it does make it. You do have to unscrew something if you want to remove the tender. Not that is recommended either. You've got wires that connect the tender to the locomotive. This also, from what I understand, means that the decoder goes into the tender. And that's also where the speaker and houses the speaker and all that sort of stuff. We can see we've got the 3801 on the side of the unit right here, on the cab side. However, the emblems are missing. If I can find a photo of 3801 for my bank of images, I will try to pop one on. It's supposed to have two little emblems on the side of the unit. Or at least that's what I would also say. Looking at the images, it's I guess it kind of makes sense why they look like this. They're in silver, which makes it really, really hard to see. So there are supposed to be plates there, which and they're supposed to be embossed with words and stuff, but yeah, it's just a bit hard to see. But obviously on the model, they've decided to just go with plateless. So let's see if we can have a quick look into the cab. It's not gonna be very easy to. Let's see if I can just shimmy off the tender a little bit. There we go. There is a bit of cab detail, don't we see? Yep. There is a little bit of cab detail, which is really nice, especially for something this small. So you got the dials up the top, you got the and the firebox door. Obviously, we can quite easily see on the model. There is also a footplate on the that bridges the gap between the tender and the locomotive. Let's realign the model a bit. It's got a lot of handrails on the model, which is really nice. Riveting on the tender which is correct for 01. I'm pretty sure I think 01 may be the only one with all the rivets these days. I'm not 100% sure the others have them. Well, at least, well, actually, I do have a photo of 01 opened up at the moment. That's why I'm just kind of cross-checking what I'm saying. It's interesting because 01 doesn't have a riveted tender anymore. The riveted tender is what's it called in its pre-form. It has a welded tender now, if I recall correctly, from what some of the photos are showing me. So that's a bit interesting that they decided to go with rivets for this one. So the yellow is actually, I should note that the yellow is a bit different to the eye, to the camera. It is a lot lighter on the camera. It is a lot darker by eye. So I should just note that difference. There's a ladder on the back. I think even the arm one had one of those actually. You got a marker change couplers. You got two little marker lights. I'm not sure if they work or not. Will be interesting to see if they do work. So as we said, we got our tender. We got the fake toe on it. It's decent, not the worst, but definitely not the best. It is pretty unrealistic, honestly. No reason why you couldn't just throw in your own coal on top if you're not happy with it. So there's always that. You can't remove it, I'm pretty sure. It does look very, very yeah, very, very hard in the tender. So our bogies again, they look good. Look very good. They look like the bogies that we got in the Control P model ones actually. So that's really, really nice. That means shows their accuracy anyways. I haven't even made that my one yet. back onto the main locomotive. This is the, hang on, these are left-hand driven, so this is the fireman's side. It should be, but we can see our linkage looks really clean again. I'm very interested to see this linkage in movement. It's always interesting to see how the different companies do linkage, because we can see that, especially with the linkage like this linkage actually has pins fitted onto both of these beams. On the Japanese stuff, I'm rather used to this bar is actually just free, and it kind of just sits in a pocket and just jumps. So it's really interesting that they've gone along and actually tried to replicate the pins. So I'm not 100% sure if they're the correct size, because something tells me that they're a little bit larger than they should be comparatively to the real one. But obviously that also makes sense because it is so small of a model. Steps off the side of the smoke box as axis hatches. As axis, basically you got a whistle fitted, and it's been painted. It's been painted in yellow, which is really interesting, because I think the real color is bronze, but nothing too hard to fix either. But at least it's there. So yeah, so we're back on the front of the model. Very nice. What's it called? So not too bad of a model, is it? It's it looks very good, especially for the size it is and the limitations that they are bounded to because of that. So I guess all that it takes now is let's bring it out to the layout and give it a run. We will be doing our running in, because this is the first time it's ever ever out of the box, I'm pretty sure. I'm thankful for that. So we'll go give it a run, and then we'll go and chuck some carriages on the back. Obviously, as I say, it's going to be a little bit different what we're putting behind us. Definitely never ran with them in real life, but yeah, so let's jump over. Alright, so obviously I'll come back to the layout. A little bit different to usual, obviously, because this is the N gauge setup. The theme, obviously, for all of this is mainly Japanese stuff, so everything's going to look a little bit odd around it. So let's get it railed on. Shouldn't be too hard. Honestly, we could probably just use we could use this to make our lives a little bit easier, because unlike the N gauge, unlike the Japanese stuff, the models all have traction tires, and traction tires make things very hard to kind of slide. So easy. It doesn't mean that I've now railed the locomotive off frame, but we'll rock the locomotive as usual, just to have a quick look and see like lights and so on. So let's just give it a quick roll. Nothing. Give me a second. Alright, the room's gotten a little bit darker since we started up, but for whatever reason, so you can see we've changed the setup a little bit. We've got we brought the Tomix track out. We've been playing around with different locomotives, another D51, trying to sort out what was actually going wrong. But for whatever reason now, the train's done about 3 loops on its own now, and it now works. Mostly works. Like in crawl mode, it's still kind of struggling, and it's so on. I'm not 100% sure what's caused it to do that, but what we can because I've been on the phone with the owner of it, just to run through it in case it needs to be warranted in or whatever it was. Because obviously something wasn't right about it, but because what's it called? We could tell the pickups weren't fully attaching on, and the tender needed weight for it to go. There's a very weird feeling that there's a a metallic coating that's been put onto the wheels, which seems to have not been picking up properly. So I don't know. So it seems to work now. So I guess we'll start doing a running in and see how it goes. I will have to continue my chat with the owner to see whether or not what he wants to do with it. But we'll finish running it in and get it all working and see if it performs better after it. And then, yeah, So that's odd. Never had that problem happen before. But yeah, so now we can see the headlight. It does actually turn on. It's an LED headlight. So on the rear, you actually get two little white markers in the direction of travel as well. But we'll have a look at that later. So, well, I guess let's get the model moving, and we'll go and do some loops. I'm just going back to using the SX controller, the standard SX. I had the Timex controller out. I had the older Kato S controller out, trying to see if that was going to work, but apparently still works on the normal SX. So this is a PWM controller, just as an FYI. So let's get it going. Alright, so that's the running in done, finally, after all the issues that we're having with it. It does run pretty well now. It doesn't have too good of a slow speed though, but it is smooth now at least. So, what we think has happened is there may have been, as with a layer, metallic layer that was put onto it, which made the conductivity really, really shocking. So really interesting little startup for this model anyways, but it's definitely now working, so we can proceed onwards. We'll see how it is later on. We'll have a I'll definitely have a look and see how its wheels are, but yeah. So anyways, we're going to throw in some carriages. As I say, the carriages won't be correct, obviously. It'll probably it'll be some JP rolling stock. Alrighty, so we've got the conversion carriage now here, as you can see. It's just one of the 3,500 yard hose, I think. 1,300 apparently. That's not right, but if I can remember what it is, I'll put it on the screen. But it's got one of the Kato couplers on this end, which does work with the micro trains couplers. So it just means that you won't have a magnetic uncoupling. But so hopefully means we can go and throw something onto it. In the time that it is taken to get this wagon though, we have heard that it is those issues we were having earlier. I wish I did record a little bit more of it rather than just trying to do troubleshooting. There has been a few issues that have been found with the model mostly. But yeah, that's a very interesting little problem it was having at the beginning of just not picking up power, and you would have to put you put weight on the on either the motor unit or the tender, and you would actually get it to light up. So because it was even odder because doing something that I probably wasn't supposed to, pushing the engine with a with another one of my Japanese fleet engines, and you could see the wheels were trying to rotate, so it was very, very odd what was going on. Anyways, we're going to have to go and take the train off. We'll get RC62 in the background over there. There we go. We'll get the train that's on the 6062. We'll get it to drag it out for us, and then we'll hook on 3801. Alright, other than the focus being absolutely funny, we've got the train hooked up finally, so let's see how it goes. It's a rake of 6 32/33 carriages, series carriages, so shouldn't realistically be too bad for it. I think in real life these engines should be able to handle about 8-10 of the TAM cars, so let's see how it goes. And there we see a problem. So I didn't really think that this rake would be heavy for it, but apparently it is, because we are now stuck on a corner. The locomotive isn't strong enough to handle this, so we'll cut off some carriages, obviously, because this is interesting, and then we'll try again. I'll do this off camera though. Alrighty, so what do we all think? Oh, this is going to be a fun little conclusion. Let's bring it to a stop first. Really does not help that my camera's focus doesn't like me. Well, what can I say, really? It's an interesting model for the first time I've ever had a look at a N gauge for Australia. I'm not sure if this is I assume this isn't the quality for everything, right? Because obviously I primarily do Japanese models. Especially on the other channel. So it struggled with the full rake of carriages. We've cut it down to 4 plus the converter wagon. It's only just making it up to grades, which is kind of interesting. I put my smallest steam locomotive I have available, and you realise how much power the traction tyres really do provide. It's an interesting model, isn't it? For looks good. I admit, looks really, really nice. But operationally has been a bit of hit and miss, especially with this model. Supposedly there was there's word that it's not only this one that has that startup problem. I really do wish I recorded a bit more of it so you could see exactly what's going on. But I didn't. I was literally testing it all out on off camera, and then something sprung to life. So yeah, so there's a connectivity issue in the models, which after apparently it just fixes itself. Well, at least this one did. The contacts on the wheels aren't 100% making contact, we've realised. So we're going to probably go through and bend those later on. Here's a quick clip back on the workshop. You can see the condition of the wheels now after it's done all its running in, and you can see that the metallic finish is slowly weared off, which I think has assisted in allowing it to operate. I should probably give a little bit of an update. Is Gopher has acknowledged the issue that some of these models may seem to be having, and has identified it to be the coating that's on the wheels that is less conductive. So yes, we were partially right in terms of what was wrong, although I still do wonder about those pickups which don't actually touch the wheels correctly on the lead unit. So back to the rest of the conclusion. Other than that, it runs nicely. It's nice and smooth. The only problem I've noticed is it kind of kick-starts. Like, that's the slowest speed you get when starting up, but you do get a slower speed when slowing down. Same sort of thing like the J classes. They have a fast startup, but then then you can get it slower after. Really interesting. It does that. Maybe that's just because I am using a PWM controller though. As I do say, these Kato SX controllers are PWM controlled controllers. Haulage wise is disappointing a little bit. The C38's designed to operate with approximately 8 ish carriages on the main line. Like the HO stuff that's came out, for whatever reason, the they honestly struggle. I do have gradients on this layout. There is an uphill ramp on the layout to get it onto the girder bridge. On a flat layout, it honestly probably wouldn't have had nearly as many problems. It's purely since this layout is designed more way as a bit more fun and a bit more of a test layout. But I haven't had any problems with any of my other models doing that either. Yeah, so it's definitely interesting. It is a nice model for what it is. It is it is rather expensive for what it is comparatively to the stuff that I usually use, but that's also fair enough. It is the Australian market, and I do understand that the Australian market is very, very different to, say, doing the Japanese market. Other than that, it is still a decent model. I can't really say whether or not I do or don't recommend it because of some of the issues that this model has, but I have a weird feeling that some of the issues are isolated to a batch of models, which is specifically for 3801. But time will tell exactly what that case is. What's my final thoughts on it? Because this is going to be probably the last time I realistically ever touch this. I'm not going to do a review on this because it's not. I have to hand this back over to its owner. It's a nice model for what it is, but there are places it can be improved on. With that, what are you guys' thoughts? Have you had any problems with the C38? Have you not had any problems? Let's start a conversation. Thank you all for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed joining us for this unboxing of this rather different area of the MTMR railway, being the N gauge project rather than our regular HO models. I hope that this has given some insight to the model, and hopefully, if you guys do enjoy this, specifically N gauge, there is the other channel. Or if you would like more engaged content, I would be happy to hopefully look at a few more in the future. We'll see. I'm trying to keep away from doing other things other than Japanese stuff, but we'll see what happens. Maybe something might pop up again in the future. We'll see what happens. But yeah, with that, we'll catch you all next time. We'll let the engine once again depart off the screen. I have currently got the screen in the way of the camera, so I first have to move the camera. So we'll let the train depart off, and we'll thank you everyone for watching.